Police were called to a disturbance by residents here on Fremantle Road. When police arrived, they found a man who had suffered stab wounds. Police and ambulance officers performed first aid, CPR and mouth-to-mouth on that man, but unfortunately he died at the scene. The wounds, or he suffered from stab wounds, and it appears as though it has been as a result of an altercation at a party at an address here on Fremantle Street. One of the things I would stress is that it would appear that the victim in this matter and the person that we are seeking to assist us with our inquiries were known to each other. It is not a random attack per se, and we do not believe that any other resident in this area is in any danger from this person.
Does the victim or the person you're looking for live at that house?
Again, everything was a little bit fluid last night. At this stage we're still getting statements from a number of witnesses to try and work out who's who in regard to who lives where and when.
So the victim himself, he didn't live at the house, or he did?
That I don't know.
Can you tell us who does live at the house?
No, I don't know.
What about a suspect? Do you have a suspect?
We have a person we're seeking who we think will be able to assist us with our inquiries. That person obviously knows who they are, and we would certainly ask that if they're listening to this or watching this, that they present themselves at the nearest police station as soon as possible.
Have you found a weapon?
The scene, as you can imagine, the scene is in a very early stage of being processed. Scenes of this nature tend to be complex, and so it'll take some time to establish whether we have a weapon at the scene or not.
How old is the victim?
We haven't done a formal identification of the victim at this stage, so I can't release any details of his identity.
Is it a teenager, do you think, though, like just at this stage?
No, it's a male adult.
Do you have a description of the suspect?
No, again, the person who we're seeking knows who they are, so we're asking that person to come forward in the first instance. We are actively seeking that person at the moment.
Can you describe how many times this person was stabbed?
Again, we're at a very early stage of the investigation. The scene's very, as you imagine, very complex, and so I wouldn't like to speculate. The person has been stabbed, but as to how many times, I don't know.
But what's your reaction?
Look, I think any crime of this type in a what is effectively a very quiet and normally safe residential area has got to send some alarm bells through people who live in this area, and it certainly sends alarm bells through myself as a police officer who works in this area. But I come back to one of my original points, and that is that the people involved were known to each other. It does not appear to be a random incident per se, and that we don't believe that any other person is in danger.
Given there was a party, was there witnesses there helping with the investigation?
Certainly, there are a number of witnesses who we have spoken to, and a number of witnesses that we are currently speaking to, and the more information they provide, the more clearer picture we get of what's occurred.
There were suggestions that it might have been a gate crasher. Is that a line?
That's not something I've heard at this stage, but I wouldn't want to discount it. Again, very early stages of the investigation, so we need to wait until all this information gets together.
So how many people were at the house?
We've had varying reports of the number of people. Apparently the party itself was very fluid. There were people coming and going throughout the night.
Is it dozens, or is it,
Well, the numbers I've heard of that have been given to me are less than a dozen, but again, there may have been times throughout the night where it was more than that, times when it was less.
Are the victim or the